not like we haven't got anything to talk about, but we've been away for a little while, but it's now time to discuss. Well, it's the season. Season starts tomorrow for some. Starts for us on Sunday. But we all know what's been going on for the last however long. So I guess we have to get into the show. I'm Sam Spurs for Life, and this is Talking Points.
It's just different.
Hello and welcome to PRTv. I am Sam Spurs for Life, and this is Talking Points episode 101. Entitled, Are We Nearly There Yet? I don't know if we're nearly there yet. I haven't looked to see the news, so I don't know. So surprise me when we get into this discussion, but I can't do it on my own. Well, I can, but I don't want to. I'm going to bring in the house MisterK, and also in the house, Sean Hell, PRTV's own. We are going to discuss all things Tottenham, but I guess we have to discuss all things Harry Kane. But before we start the show, make sure you smash a like on the stream. We are going to be going to PRTV. You might be watching us on Paxton Road TV or else on PRTV, but, you know, we're moving across. But we're going to do that slowly but surely. Enough waffling. Put your comments in the comment section below, and we shall get talking. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Did you say this was episode 101, Sam?
Yes, it was. Yes, it is, should I say.
In the Notorious Orwell novel, there's room 101. Where you go to the place, where you fear your worst. And maybe today, for a lot of Spurs fans, this is the day they feared their worst. I have a little bit more experience, and I feel I've been here before. But yeah, it's been a momentous day. It doesn't seem to be resolved from my latest scanning of Twitter, but I was quite shocked at I think it was 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock this morning to see the yellow band on Sky Sports News say that we've agreed a deal with Bayern Munich to sell Harry Kane. There's no doubt about it. It was
fantastic news. Finally, a bit of money for all the Levy lovers out there. Hi, gang.
There's going to be a few things to talk about. MisterK, what's your thoughts initially before we get into this? How have you been anyway?
I tell you the truth. Like Sean said, room 101. It's suspicious that I turned up at this particular moment in time. And it was no plan, honestly. I planned with you, Sam, for ages for me to turn up before the season started. Little did I know that Levy would go out there and someone would bid over 100 million euros for a player that we've got now. The last time we had that was before Bale. So this moment is as big as it was that time during Bale. And I think every time we sell a player for 100 million, it's the end of a saga. But is it the end of the club? No. I kid you not. I'll give you an example right here. You remember Suarez when he used to play for Liverpool? He was a fantastic player. He used to rip it apart. And the idea that Liverpool would lose Suarez, such a potent threat, where would the team go? Where would they find their goals? And guess what? They went and got some player that Chelsea rejected. He wasn't doing anything good at Chelsea. And they brought him over to Liverpool. And what a sensation he turned out to be. Now, it all turned out to be in the hands of the manager and the change that Liverpool was going about. And the money that they captured from Suarez was the money that they managed to use properly. The difference, I think, between the two clubs is the board going to make the wise investments to back the manager? Well, on past record, they haven't really have a proven track record of doing anything of that kind. So that's the only thing that's worrying me a little bit. But apart from that, I think we've all been waiting for the last 3 years, I believe. For the last 3 years, we've been waiting for Kane to go. And I think to a certain degree, people may not like to hear it, but we have to get over that. At some point, he was going to go. At some point, we're going to have to create a team without him. And, you know, this is the time. And this is the bittersweet moment, as far as I'm concerned. But I believe in end. as far as I'm concerned, in Ange we trust. So I'm hopeful of whatever the season will bring. It will be a bit rocky because it always is with this particular manager through the transition period. Um, a lot of it is going to be deflected away from him because Kane's going. Oh, are we still discussing whether Kane's going to go? No, he's going. Bayern would not put a bid in and take so much time over a player that they did not know for a certainty was going to leave Tottenham. They know he's going to leave Tottenham. The way it's being orchestrated, with the media coming out and saying that the deal's been done, now it's down to Kane to decide. Well, that's a bit silly because now he's lumping the responsibility on Kane, when in reality, the club accepted the bid. And everyone's going to turn around and say, well, what can Levy do? You know, it's 100 million. You couldn't exactly say no for a player that's only got 12 months. It's the right thing to do. But if you believe in your team, then you've got to give Ange a possibility of succeeding. And without Kane, it's going to be maybe take a little bit longer to get there. So that's my thoughts on it, is that I believe that we're going to always have to go through this process. So this is the beginning of that process as far as I'm concerned. So good luck to Kane when he goes. Not if he goes, he's going.
Right. So now I'm going to just cut him, and I'm going to come back to Sean because I'll get his thoughts.
So Sam, one thing. Sam,
Yeah.
I forgot to mention one thing. Levy out.
It's been a long time since you've been on the stream. It's funny. Right. So this morning, David Ormstein, the Gooner, puts out that Kane's going. Puts out bid's been accepted. Blah 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 blah. Bayern Munich have come up with this 100 million euro, should I say?
Yeah.
Didn't they bid the other day 96 something? I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I'm going by reports here. So 96 million euros, whatever. So this deal now is 100 million euros. I don't know if it's structured with add-ons or all the rest of it. It just seems very strange. It seems strange to me at the time. It would come out on the Thursday, 3 days before the season. But then what made it even stranger for me, I start seeing Sky and I start seeing, but he might be thinking of staying now. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? Just like what you said. If the bid's already been accepted, there's no way Bayern Munich are going to get to this stage without agreeing personal terms. Now, unless this is a change of heart or unless we're being told things that are not quite true, I don't have a clue. We can go by some facts and we can go by all of the number of sources that have now claimed that the bid's been accepted and Harry Kane is now left in a position to make this decision. I still don't know what's going on. But all I know is the timing is absolutely awful. We know he's possibly going to be staying on for this season, maybe going on a free next year. I don't know. He's possibly going to Bayern Munich now, and we have to get somebody. I don't know. The problem is, this cannot be good for preparation when you're 3 days out from playing Brentford away. I just don't get it. But I always thought because the transfer window closes on September 1st, this could always be the case. Bayern Munich don't have to put a bid in when they want to put a bid in or when we want them to put a bid in. They put it in when they want to put a bid in. The only problem is I was reading and sort of thinking there's a deadline. The deadline for me should have been more than 3 days before the season starts. But we are where we are. Sean, do you think he's going? Now, as in this season, now, as in the next few days. Does he play on Sunday?
Do you know, it's really the unanswerable, and the reason I kind of counter you a wee bit, Sam, is that Bayern Munich know that if they don't get Kane at the moment, they will be swept away in the rush come January by the other European giants, and they will definitely be lost come June next year. So for them, for Bayern, this is very, very important. He is really important. Tuchel has obviously seen Kane up close when he was at Chelsea, and he thinks that he needs to. This is his generational talent. Remember, Bayern won the league last year, basically with the last kick of the season, and only because Dortmund imploded on the last game of the season. As it stands now at 12 minutes past 8 on the 9th or 10th of July. I'm lost, to be honest. This is what pre-retirement does to you.
August, mate.
He's really done something because it's August.
Well, even so, there you are. August. It's I don't really know. I mean, all I know is that if as has been said that Charlie has, negotiated a contract with Bayern over the summer, that you can bet that the farewell video has been recorded as well. But has it appeared on Kane's social media yet? No. Has it appeared on the club's media yet? Or have the club said anything on their media? They've not said we've accepted a bid from. It's only in Sky Sports and The Athletic and the media. At the moment, we don't even know. I mean, to be fair, we don't even know the price. I mean, I know what my price would have been if he's to go, and it's 100 million, but it's not euros.
Yeah,
it's not euros.
But Sean, the club is absolutely famous for producing like 1% comment statement, right? Yeah, and the media is responsible for 99% of all the statements that apparently give the intent of Tottenham. Whether that comes through Alistair, whether that comes through Twitter or whatever it is. For some reason, all us fans seem to know an awful lot about what's going on and who's making what decisions, when only 1% of the information is actually released by the club. So it's a get out of jail free card every time for Levy. But I'm not here to moan about Levy.
Yeah. I mean,
all that one guy.
The blame for the situation, Mr. K, as I was going to say, before I was interrupted. You can tell he hasn't been on the stream for a while.
I haven't changed.
The blame for everything lies at the ownership of the football club. I mean, you could speculate that the Lewis Trust has called Daniel over to Miami last weekend and said, "You better fucking sell him, because we've got to defend our uncle when he goes to court in New York." For once, Levy might have wanted to say "fuck you, Bayern." We'll just have a ride for 12 months. But it's all speculation. It's all up in the air, and until he's holding a Bayern shirt in Munich, he's still our player. I feel the one innocent person in this is Ange Postecoglou. But you know what? Having seen our second string with Sanchez at left centre-back give nearly full-strength Barcelona a run for their money for 70, 80 minutes on Tuesday, I'm not worried.
I wouldn't say I'm not worried, because we are better with Kane than we are without him. What I would say is we have to rely on players that are now there to do the job. We didn't see Richarlison playing that game recently, but he looks like he's got to be given a chance. And I'm making the assumption that Kane's gone. I still go back to the point: the timing couldn't be worse, other than probably tomorrow. They should have sorted this out. But again, I think you both touched on it. This is going to be almost like a get out of jail free card for Enoch, because they can say, well, what we're supposed to do. We can't not have a bid, because he might walk for free next year. We'd all be up in arms for that. We sell him now, but we're going to try and get as much as we can. So 100 million euros, 86.5 million pounds, or roughly that sort of figure.
Yeah, I think it's 86.4.
Unless, and this is what I'm saying, unless there's been things that they've already done these deals, they've already talked, they know Kane's going, they've got their things lined up, because all the transfers that we were looking at, and we'll talk about some of the transfers that have come in recently as well, it just seems very convenient, given Tottenham's history of how we've been doing our transfers. Going back to the Bale scenario, we know what happened there, and we knew he was going, and we got all the players in, and we was thinking, yeah, but Bale went. This kind of has that feel, but there's no statements. It's not like he's not turned up for training. He's been present, and I'm talking about Harry Kane here. He scored 4 goals in his last outing. There was talk about he didn't go to Barcelona because there's a number of players that might not have gone. So again, we're all in the dark here because there's been no statements. The club hasn't come out and said he's not for sale at any price because that was now gone. They haven't come out and said we need to have 120 million. No one said that. Harry Kane hasn't come out and said I'm going, not directly. So everything's been indirect, and it's coming from reporters that, yes, they've got to have their credibility, but nobody's got it right so far. Nobody's got it right. Even David Ornstein come out this morning and said, there's been a deal. First thing Sky do, Kane's off. They can't wait to sell him. Then hold on a minute. Kane might not be going. So who's giving this information? I'm going to add somebody else into the mix, and she's here. Sometimes positive vibes, Pav. She's in the house. Welcome, Pav. I guess you might know what we're talking about initially, but you might be able to guess. Is he staying? Is he going before this weekend? Do you think Harry Kane's playing this weekend?
Oh God! Don't get me started.
That's what you're here for.
Do you know what? I don't know. Do you know what? I do not know. Everyone is twisting what is happening. No one is saying the right thing. So do you know what? I don't bloody know. Okay, I really want to say, you know what? Yeah, he's gonna stay. He'll be here after the Brentford game. But do you know what? I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, whether he's staying or he's going. But at this point, I'm just really confused. After being on Twitter all day today, my mind is
I've seen you.
Sorry.
Look, I'm absolutely certain about 2 things. One, he's going, and secondly, Levy out. There you go.
The second
Look, I'm
one's
not
not
laughing,
certain.
but I'm trying
The
to
second one's not certain. The first one might be certain, but the second one is not certain. Right, the transfer window closed on the 1st of September. So there's always going to be this case. I thought, and again, we heard they were going to set the deadline once, and even the rumours came out that once the season starts, that's it. We're not going to be entertaining that. But I always thought, well, that can't be the truth, because if they come with us and said, oh, we're going to pay you 120 million euros, I'm sure they wouldn't have turned that down. Or, well, as it sounds now, they haven't turned down 100 million euros. But it's just the lack of direct quotes. I think we talked about it before, Sean, when we saw a couple of interviews or post-match or pre-match interviews with Angie, was like, I just need to sort it out. He looked like he had a bit of a weight on him. Since then, I think he's kind of almost accepted this situation. Now, what I mean by accepted, it means that it's gonna be a media circus regardless. They probably had private conversation. Him and Harry, they would have been definitely in private conversations. I'm pretty sure they know closed doors what's happening.
Sam, the thing is, right, yeah, the media that we've got here in the UK, right, yeah, outside the UK, everyone's absolutely, they knew weeks ago that he's going to Bayern Munich. The Germans have been all over this for weeks. They've been getting ready. The only people confused are the Spurs fans. The media we've got in this country has never liked Spurs fans in the first place. They like ribbing us, right? But the thing is, at the end of the day, when it comes to uncertainty, that's the bubble we live in. But when you look outside, it's like, he was scoring goals, and they were saying, yeah, like that's the last goal he's going to score for Spurs. And this was the commentator on the game itself, on the friendly. I mean, the commentator was absolutely dead certain in his voice. Kane is going. The Germans have absolutely been preparing and paving the way for Kane to arrive. As far as they're concerned, this is a massive coup. It's like getting Messi to turn up. I mean, this is it. Look, I understand that we've not been given clarity, and it's important to have clarity, especially when you have a transition going on and the season's just about to start. But this club has never been fair to us in the first place. There's a proven track record. What will they go for? They'll go for the money. They've accepted the bid. The part of it's been dealt with. The fact that Bayern Munich, right, yeah, they didn't just try once. They didn't put in one bid. They put in second bid, a third bid. This is like the fourth bid they put in. So they've been dragging on. They wanted to get their star player in place for their pre-season. So as far as they're concerned, this is not doing them any favors whatsoever. To have a star player turn up that's not gelled or integrated within the team in order for them to kick off a campaign successfully. So this has not been benefit to Bayern Munich. But this is at the end of the day. This is how Enoch does what it does. This is how Levy does his business. We all, as Spurs fans, we all get excited when summer hits. We say, okay, right, what do we need? We need some centre backs. Every season, what do we need? We need some centre backs. We need some left wings. We need some right backs. And what happens? The summer drags on, and then we get some players towards the end of the season, towards the end of the window. It's the same old, same old. But at the end of the day, Kane is gonna go because he wants. Look. At the end of the day, everyone agrees, right? Yeah, that he loves the club. Yes. So what's he gonna do? Is he gonna spite Levy by not going? No, he's not.
He doesn't have to
He's
go.
gonna say, look, the club gets 100 million. The club gets 100 million. I go, and the club's gonna be well off.
This is my point, and I'm going to come to you in a minute. This is my point about this because there's been number of ex-footballers that have been having their say on it. They're on Gary Neville when the overlap was saying he'd be amazed. He'd be amazed if Kane went now. I see Michael Owen tweeting out something. Why would Kane go to Germany? The Bundesliga, yeah, he's almost guaranteed that Bayern Munich win it every year. I know they was close this year, but they are going to win more often than not. Is that going to be as big a fillet as him staying here and possibly breaking Alan Shearer's record? Some people say, well, it's a no-brainer. He's winning a medal. But some of these other footballers are saying, well, no, because the Bundesliga, yes, it may be that he's playing for Bayern Munich, but it doesn't have the same ring as La Liga. It doesn't have the same ring as being a Premiership winner. Now, this Alan Shearer record, 260 goals, he's 47 goals away from it. He could come back in a couple of years and do it. But that might be a real direct thing that he's aiming for. But what do you think, Pav? Do you think Harry Kane actually wants out now? Or has he seen the way that we've been playing? I think there was some stats that went around in the first 3 games. We were like nearly 100 shots. So it must be nearly 120 shots in the 4 games that we played. Do you think he actually now wants to go? Or is there a degree of confusion? Or are we just being led down a path and he's going to be gone before Sunday to his medical, flying out to Munich? What's your thoughts, realistically?
Well, initially, I thought he'd want to go because, I mean, come off it. Why is this being pushed out so late? Why is there even talks between the two clubs? It's clear that he wants to go. But now I'm seeing everyone saying, oh, do you know what? He's 50-50. He might not go. He's leaning towards staying at Spurs. And you can see that there's already that relationship between him and Ange, right? So there's a slight possibility that it might be the case that he's like, okay, do you know what? I like this guy. Maybe I'll give him a shot. Let the season go on and see what happens. But why are you leaving it so late? Our season starts days, like we've got a couple of days till our season starts and we don't know what the hell's going on. And it's not fair on us. It's not fair on Ange. And I just feel so sorry for him. And Kane just needs to see now and he needs to be like, right, is it worth it? I've got a baby on the way. Is it worth it me going to Germany now, leaving Spurs in the, bad state that they are going to be in? Or shall I give Andrew a chance and shall I just stay? I think in his mind, the reason why people are saying it's 50-50 because he is confused himself as to whether he can bring himself to leave the club and say, yes, I'm going to go, bye. Or he just wants to move on and say, do you know what? I want to win these trophies. I want to start over and move on. But it's very, very confusing. I think that his own head is scrambled. And I don't know when the hell we're going to find out. But I know you were saying that, he's probably going to go, blah, blah, blah. But there's a little hope there that he might just stay. I don't know. My head is scrambled as well, so I don't know. I'm trying to think positive here, guys. So, yeah.
Sean, what's your thoughts on that? Based on what Pav said, because there is a chance. And, again, the old sayings, no smoke without fire, all the rest of it. It seems very strange that a bid would be accepted. I don't know many times where a bid's been accepted and the player doesn't go unless there's medical issues or something else breaks down. Usually, the deal's already done in terms of what they're getting paid. They know all that, blah, blah, blah. And this is like the last bit of the cog in the wheel sort of thing. But this one is one of the, again, because it sells, because that's Harry Kane, he's England captain, is going to cause no end of publications, no end of clicks, no end of media circus around it. So I understand all this that's going on. But I still don't understand why there's been no statements from anybody connected with Spurs. Nothing. Total radio silence. We're getting the hearsay things. And like we were saying, pal, this ain't good for us as fans, because I thought yesterday, oh, that's it now. We're kind of like, you know, we're into the season. We're starting on Sunday. We're kicking off. No players bigger than the club, blah, 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 all the rest of that good stuff. But here we are now, 72 hours, just less than that, and we still don't know if our best player is going to be playing for us come Sunday. Madness. Sean, take it over. Tell me your thoughts on that whole thing.
Let's get it right. Bayern Munich are a very big club. They're in the Champions League every year, without a doubt. They've got the Champions League. They've won it in the past. They're going to be in it every season. They're going to be there every year. Now, what might be sowing the confusion is we don't know when Charlie agreed the contract. If Charlie agreed the contract in June, July, it was before Harry got to meet Ange. Now, maybe having worked with Ange for a while, the doubts are there. He's thinking, I'm in a team now where we're getting 30 shots away every week. We're playing on the front foot. This is the football I played when I was 8 with Jermaine Defoe. This is the football that I came into Tottenham under that deadbeat at Chelsea. Right? We, you know, there are so many spinning plates. You know, this is classic Paratici, who, remember, is still advising, still in the background. You know, still got his little fingers in the pie on a commission only basis. We've got a problem within the ownership group, in that the head of the family, the mafia, the Lewis mafia, is facing a bit of jail time. We've got all sorts of things going on, and yet, as you said, and I would tend to think if the deal has been agreed, it's 99.999 recurring % going to take place. But it's all about timing. It's all about legacy. It's all about there are so many factors at play here. What is always clear is that Levy has taken the coward's way out as ever, and that's why he needs to go. I mean, I have no ire to Harry Kane. How can I? I've watched him throughout his career. I was there at Villa Park when he saved Pochettino's job with that deflected free kick. Right? I was there when he went in goal when Lloris was sent off. You know, there's so much at play here. This morning when I woke up, I was sure that I was going to see Kane playing for us on Sunday. Now I don't know. Am I fearful? A little bit. But what sustains me, and I've said it already, is that I think we have a great coach. I think we have the coach that we've been crying out for since November 2019, when Levy made yet another mistake by pulling the trigger on the coach and then taking us down the road of the unmentionables. Let's say. I just hope that we get resolution tomorrow. That we know that by the time you do the preview show, I'm hoping that we'll have some idea.
Let me ask you all of this. Based on this comment here, and I'm going to ask you all, and let's start with Pav, because Pav, I want to get your... Are there games being played here? And who's going to come out looking the best if, let's say, he goes? Because I think everybody's wanted to save a bit of face here. You know, Bayern Munich can't be putting in 3 or 4 bids and not get the player. Daniel Levy can't not accept a €100 million bid because he's going to get pelters regardless of what happens. Harry Kane can't be putting rumours out via everybody else saying he wants to go and then not go. But if he does go, who's coming out the best here? I know obviously it's an obvious thing for Kane. He might be getting, I don't know, 400k a week. He's going to Bayern Munich. He's going to be playing Champions League. He's all right, Jack. I guess you look at it from the club's point of view, and this is Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, well, we could have, and I'll be spinning this yarn. Well, if we didn't accept this bid, we don't know if he's going to sign. It's a massive gamble. We were gambling on the fact that we're getting Champions League, but if we don't get into the Champions League, then he still walks on a free, and then we ain't got nothing. Bayern Munich, as I said, I think they're just trying to get the player of the day in to obviously branch or bridge that gap, should I say, to win in the Champions League. I don't think they'll do it with him anyway this season. Personally, I think it will take a little bit more than what they've got. But everybody's kind of getting into a bit of a situation. But I think the real losers in all of this are the fans. And the reason I say that is we can't now go into Sunday's game. I was going into Sunday's game thinking this guy's playing for us. Yeah, he might leave next year on a free. That's by the by. He doesn't have to sign, and I wouldn't sign if I was him. I'd see out the season. I'd wait. I might still sign at the end of the summer, but I wouldn't sign now. So I don't blame Harry Kane for that. What I do have a little bit more problem about is nobody has even tried to interview him, and we've seen all these interviews. They've been interviewing players on Spurs play left, right, and centre. But nobody's said anything to him. Is he being protected? Is it because he... who's going to come out smelling of roses if anybody, Pav? And then you can... You know what I mean? We'll have a bit more of a discussion about who we've brought in, because I'm tired of this Kane thing, because it hasn't happened yet, but it's likely to happen. Pav, who's come out the best in all of this situation? And who's come out the worst?
Well, we've come out at the worst, as you said, because I just think it's so unfair. Like, we don't know what the hell is going on. This is what I'm saying. We're only seeing what the media is saying, twisting all this BS, right? And we're not knowing what the hell is going on. No one's spoken out at all. If you think back to what happened last summer with the whole Man City side of it, yeah, it's like a similar repeat. But then Harry Kane spoke out afterwards, but we're not hearing anything, not from the club. Like you said, no interviews, not from Harry Kane himself. We're just sat in the dark. And on Sunday is our game against Brentford. What the hell is going to happen if Kane goes? Or what's going to happen if he stays for that game? Is he going to stay permanently? Is he going to see the season out? Or is he going to wait until that game's over to then make a decision? Like, we're sat in the dark. And I think it's very, very unfair on us fans to be just sitting here waiting, not knowing what the hell was going on. Now, with who's to blame overall, I think it's Levy. I think with the whole Bayern Munich putting in many, many bids and Levy stretching it out so late now to leave it towards the end of the window and also the start of the season, it's like there's not that fairness for Ange, because then he hasn't got that time to prep. He's been prepping during preseason with Kane. He's not had that preparation without Kane. He's had Kane by his side. So what's going to happen now that if Kane is taken out of the picture? What's going to happen next? What's he going to do? How's he going to feel? How is he going to prepare for future games or whatever? And it's not fair because Levy's left this so late. Yes, people, like, I put a tweet out earlier about this whole thing, and people were saying like, oh, you know, it's not Levy's fault. Like, he couldn't have just given a number and that's it. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but why couldn't he have just said, you know what, we're looking for this amount and this amount only, anything less than that, we're not going to accept it, and that's that. Why could he not have done that there and then when the negotiation started at the beginning anyway? Why has he left it so late and now accepted it? If it's surely the deal's done and it's been agreed, surely then that's it, it's done. But why is people now coming out and saying Kane's 50-50, it's up to Kane? It's just all confusing. And I think for us to just sit here as fans and wait and see, yes, do you know what, we have to wait. We have to wait for a statement. We have to wait for someone to come out. I don't think we're going to hear anything personally until the Brentford game's over. I'll be very, very surprised if we hear anything tonight or even tomorrow. But I feel like Levy is twisting it, doing something behind the scenes, and that's causing all this chaos and rumours.
Right. But Mr. K, go on. Because the press conference hasn't gone as far as I'm aware.
Sam, it's we get the same repeat every single year from the fans. Pav couldn't hit the nail on the head any better. It's unfair to us. It's unfair to us. It's been unfair to us for seasons. Look, we're the last people to know anything. We're going to gossip. We're going to grab any gossip that goes around. We're going to grab any tidbits of information going around from no matter what uncredible or credible sources that exist. The club has always been in charge of any information coming out. That's an absolute fact. Okay, this idea that, look, if you just look at the Amazon documentary, that just shows you absolutely everything about the power of the club in terms of the information coming out regarding it. When Kane came back from a red-listed country during COVID, and he was not allowed to turn up to the training pitch, there was a media blackout. Tottenham didn't make a statement. The fans went absolutely berserk thinking that Kane's about to do the dirty on them. They were foul-mouthing him, and they were foul-mouthing his brother for 4 days straight. And then it comes out, well, he's in training now. And did anyone turn around and take back their words? The answer is no, because we're so starved of proper information. The club is always going to play and come out smelling of roses. They just build a second cinema. That's probably what they will do with the money. But as far as, I mean, think about it. Berbatov, I mean, you guys look, we were fans when Berbatov left, right? And Berbatov was even later than this. He left on the last day of the transfer window, in the last hour. So forget about 3 days before the season starts. He left at the end of the transfer window after we already played games. So that if this club, it's the same management selling style, right? If you look at the players that we've acquired so far, right? Yeah. As far as who's going to come out the best, I think Richarlison's going to come out the best. He's going to be absolutely loving this. He's going to be rubbing his hands, going, "Wicked! I'm going to get some game time. Everyone's going to have to rely on me. The media's going to have to spin me good." Right? The question is, who becomes the captain then? Right? Because originally, Kane was about to step into the captain's role. Hugo's out. So now I think it's going to have to be Sonny. Look, this is a team game. And that's been the biggest problem of having Kane in the squad right here, is that we've been forgetting about the team. And when people turn around and saying, well, Kane's looking at Ange and saying, well, I could score a lot of goals. When he looks behind him and he sees the defense that we've got, yeah, fair enough, we just brought in a new defender. Yeah, just one, right? And he looks behind and he sees the defense we've got. He's thinking to himself, last season, we let in more goals than West Ham, who came in, 17th or something? Right? So think about that for a second. West Ham get to the conference final and they win. We get to the conference final. No, we didn't. Did we? Did we get to a conference final? I can't remember. We didn't get no such thing. Whatever finals we get to right, yeah, there's no chance of us winning, apparently. Sorry. No chance. Even my phone's given up. Look, are there any good things in this? Like I said, the only good thing in this right, yeah, is that we as the fans, the faster we get to a post-Kane scenario, the better we can move on. The more focus we can start to give the management and the board, a clear focus, without all this deflection, smoke and mirrors that we've been accustomed to for so many years. If Kane goes, then we'll have a better focus on the success and failure of the club and why. If we have success, then at the end of the day, the board deserves a pat on the back because they're the ones who brought the success. And I know it's been 22 years in the making, but at the end of the day, I firmly believe that the system that Ange has would benefit from a Kane in it, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. But can it do without Kane? And the answer is it can, but it will take longer. It will take another season before Ange is able to create a team that can do what it can do this season with Kane in it. See, I look at the fact and I say to myself that we're going to have pain until October, right? With Kane out, we're going to have pain until next July. Can the fans hold on? And the answer is no, we can't. But Levy, he's got that money. He doesn't. Now he's got an excuse not to spend it all. It's the end of the season. What type of grabs can he get? Players out there, clubs out there, they're going to know we've got 100 million euros. They're going to jack up the price for every single player they've got. That's the fact. They know that other teams, they know that Tottenham's going to be desperate for a striker or a replacement, or even another centre back. Come on, we've got the money, we can buy another centre back. But is that money going to go and really splash out? It could be. You're right. It could be a PRTv domino effect where the deals are lined up and they've just been waiting for this transfer to occur. And if you think about it, back in the days, that's how Levy used to operate. The deals were lined up and they'd wait for one major transaction to go through, and then all these other deals would domino effect and come into play. Right? So I think, what's that young boy was named? Tapper Soda, Lemonade, whatever his name is, like, yeah. Originally it's like we're interested in him. He's not interested in us. Apparently he wanted to go to Real Madrid or somewhere. And then all of a sudden, when the deal between Bayern Munich start put the third bid in, all of a sudden in the media, Tapper Soda, he suddenly comes back into the media as a prospect for Tottenham. As soon as I saw that, I said, "That's it, bang, Kane's gone." Look, we've been watching this game long enough. It's a relatively simple game. It's not about clean sheets. It's like we're going to score one more than you. It's that simple. It's a team game. That means everyone has to put it in. Ange is the type of manager that holds every single person in the team accountable. He wants the ball to be moved fast. He wants it to constantly be in possession, constantly be moving around. He wants to psychologically destroy the opposition. And once he gets his way, and once he gets the players in place that buy into his system, they won't have a choice, by the way. They don't have a choice. He's the only manager I've seen come into Tottenham that's turned around and said, "Listen, my system will be implemented." It's not a case of I come in and look at the squad and say, "Okay, what can I make out of you?" No, he says, "No, I've got a system. Who's going to play the system? Bang. Who's not? Get out. Now I'm going to bring in players." So it'll take a couple of seasons to do so. Right? So I'm firmly in the mind, I'm here for the long haul. Because these type of projects, they take some time. As far as Germany is concerned, as far as Bayern Munich is concerned, who's the manager for Bayern Munich? Tuchel. He was in London. He's seen the Premier League players. He wouldn't be pushing the board so much in Bayern, right? Yeah, to go out there and definitely make sure you get Kane, because he's setting up his team, and the prime piece is going to be Kane. It's going to go all around him. So he's got a little genius plan of winning the Champions League. That's what he's doing. Tuchel is gambling that. The Bayern board have bought into it, so there's going to be success. As far as all these naysayers and niggling this and Harry Kane would be better off breaking records and all that type of crap. Listen, at the end of the day, if he's got no trophies to put on the wall, right, yeah, what does it matter what's in the Guinness Book of Records? Who's going to go and buy the Guinness Book of Records and open it up? Come on, this is ridiculous. We're talking about a man that's given absolutely everything for the club. It's about time. The last thing he wants to do now is give 100 million euros and say, "Tottenham, I gave you everything. You'd be sad to go. I want to stay, but unfortunately I can't." It's that simple. Is he going to play the tactics that Levy does? "Oh, I know, I'll stay, right? Yeah, walk out on a free. Walk out on a free. Why not?"
It looks like he is, Sean. I think
Yeah.
I think Kane's. If I look at it cynically, I think Kane's playing this blinder. I think he's playing a blinder right here, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have to say anything. We want him to say something, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to sign anything. We want him to, but why would you? He's already got a deal now in principle with Bayern Munich, so he can make that decision if he wants to. What do you think Postecoglou is going to say when he's going to be inevitably asked in the press conference tomorrow, Sean? How do you think he's going to manage this one? Is he going to just bat it away? Is he going to just be very honest? Is he going to come out and say, "Well, Kane's mind's not ready for Sunday"? Because I don't believe that, Kane shouldn't start. I think if he's available, you should play him, because he's done that all preseason. But if the bid's now been agreed, the usual thing that happens is they don't play the player in case he gets injured. What do you think Postecoglou is going to say come tomorrow's press conference, Sean?
He'll say something beautiful, as he's been doing in all his press conferences. He'll deal with it in the way I have experienced Postecoglou in Glasgow 31, just up the road from me here, for the last 2 years. He is a consummate professional. He will deal with any questions tomorrow professionally. He'll throw in the odd mate. He will be sharp when he needs to be sharp. He'll be funny when he wants to be funny. But eventually the press officer will step in and say, "We're not answering those questions. It's about Brentford." and that's what will happen. I'm not worried about that press conference tomorrow, unless they insist on turning it into a valedictory meeting about Harry Kane. In which case the press officer will say, "Well, you've had your 5 minutes, away you go." When they only have to turn up and make themselves available under the TV licensing thing. So I'm not worried about that tomorrow. I'm not particularly worried if Kane goes. I mean, when the likes of Berbatov and Carrick, I think is one that we all forget. That was a dagger to the heart of Martin Yole. You ask him that today.
Oh, that was a horrible one.
Yeah. It really broke him. We're a different animal as a football club now. We were miles away from being a Champions League contender, or not even in Europe. It took Martin Yole to get us back into Europe. So Tottenham Hotspur now is, and you have to give some credit to the ownership, a different animal nowadays than it was back in those days. We were a selling club. Yeah, we were a selling club. This is a forced sale. It's the first one that we've done since Kyle Walker, maybe, or Christian Eriksen. Yeah. So it's not a problem to me. Ange's system will work. It will work. We will turn over the teams that we expect to turn over. We won't have losing to Bournemouth at home like we did last season. We won't have those again. Although they've got themselves a very good coach as well, and they've recruited that boy Alex Scott today. So, so it's I'm not particularly concerned about that. I mean, what I'd rather talk about is, and we're going to move on to it, is what the other players that we've got in, where we think things can work out. Let's talk about the redemption arc of Gio Lo Celso. Let's talk about, we've got a goalkeeper who's a bit of a project, and it would help if he had a settled centre-back pairing. And let's support him. Let's not worry about Raya. Brentford wanted to make him more expensive than Ederson. No, I'm glad we pulled the plug on that. That's ridiculous. He's nowhere near, he's not fit to lace Ederson's boots. Let's just concentrate on what we've got. Maddison. Basuma in Barcelona on Tuesday night. What a player. What a player. The player that we thought we bought was destroyed by the Turin troll. And now the leash is off. It's disappointing. Can't deny it's disappointing today to hear that we could possibly lose Harry Kane. Possibly, we have to say possibly. But let's focus on the good things about this transfer window. Yeah. Maddison, Vicario, I think is a talent, and Solomon seems to be settling in.
Oh yeah, good player.
Yeah, so we'll see what's going on, and Van der Ven's arrived.
Yep.
We've got some money. There's still talk of another. Ange's asked for another centre back beyond Van der Ven. So let's see. I don't think as we know, we always get left one or two players short. But
always.
I think with the key arrival at Tottenham Hotspur is Ange Postecoglou. God bless his name.
Well, that's a nice segue into this. This has been the last part, which kind of moves into that. And this is how we'll do this into the players. And who then, if he doesn't start, who takes his place on Sunday? Pav? Harry Kane, that is. As the number 9, central striker.
I'm going to be brave and I'm going to say Richarlison. Do you know what? The thing is, right?
Yeah.
With him is that I genuinely feel sorry for him, because there's a lot of people out there that are slating him, and what people don't realize is he didn't have as much of an opportunity last season, with obviously like Kane being there, he didn't have enough game time, and wasn't he injured at some point as well? And it's just like, I think, obviously, I wouldn't say, oh, he's the replacement for Kane if he goes or whatever, but there's no harm in giving that opportunity for him to start, see how he gets on in the Premier League, give him that game time and let him progress himself. And I think there's no harm in him starting. So I think give him that opportunity. Brentford game. If Kane's not in the squad, give him that chance. Let him show us what he's got. Let him prove us wrong. Because there's a lot of people hating on him, saying, "Oh, you know what? He's useless, and we shouldn't have bought him for that much." Blah blah blah. All this talk about him being rubbish or whatever. But prove us wrong. Give him the opportunity.
Okay. So who else? Give me your then. So I'm thinking at this moment in time, you've got to give Richarlison a chance. If you don't, there's no point in buying it. There was no point in him being brought to this club if two managers don't fancy him to play as a number 9, if Harry Kane's an absent. The other thing is, and people were saying this on Twitter, some people saying, when Harry Kane was out, and I heard it on TalkSport, so when Harry Kane was out for a few months, and he has been out for a few months over the last couple of seasons, 2-3 seasons, we did all right in certain situations. He was out for quite a while. The one which obviously was the hurtful one was when he came back for the Champions League final, which, again, I cannot get that out of my head, but that's what it was. But we went for a long period of time without him, and we obviously got to the final without him being in the team. Positives. As I said, if Richarlison doesn't start on Sunday, if Harry Kane's not available, I'm not sure what's going to happen, because I always thought that Son might be a good opportunity for him to play central. Okay, I'm going to go through what I think is my start 11 if Harry Kane wasn't playing. And this is just mine at the thoughts at this moment in time. It'll probably change. I was thinking more long-term as Son being that central striker, but then I think to myself, if you don't play with Richarlison, it's going to be a real kick in the nuts. But I'm going to stick with my principles. Solomon on that left, central striker, I'm going to go with Son and put on the right Kulusevski. I would bring Richarlison in if there was an opportunity to bring him in. But that's how I'm going at the moment. The midfield 2, Maddison has got to play. He 100% got to play. And I'm going with Papi Sarr because I like that kid. I really do like it. Everybody's talking about Højbjerg should go for the experience, but Højbjerg's head might be up his arse because there's talk about him going. So I don't want players who don't really want to be playing football for us. So I'm going to go with Papi Sarr. Then I'm going to go, obviously, Yves Bissouma has been incredible during pre-season. The thing I saw of him when I saw there was somebody put some clips together of him against Barcelona. He looked like the Yves Bissouma that was beating everybody when he was playing for Brighton. And I see him play against all the top teams, and he was absolutely killing them. He did that against Barcelona for the time he was playing. Back 4 now. This is where it gets a bit interesting. For me, if you're playing away from home, you're going to want to be a little bit more defensively solid because I don't think Porro's up to the defensive side of things. But then again, from an attacking perspective, do you think Emerson Royals is good going forward in that inside playing, inside, fullback? Time will tell. But I'm going to start with him because of his defensive capabilities. Romero, I'm actually going to just throw him in there. Mickey van der Ven, there you go, son. You're starting. I don't care if you've had 2 sessions or 1 session. You're playing, mate. Here you go. Because I cannot see who else can play there based on what I've seen this pre-season. Don't want to see Ben Davies, not because I don't think he's a good professional, but because I just don't think he's physical enough and strong enough and big enough to deal with what I think Brentford are going to put on us, because they would have watched and seen what we're weak in. And then on the left back, the Deji, again, has been fantastic in terms of a player that's just coming, young player. So that's it. Vicario, he needs to have established players, because if you're a goalkeeper and your defense in front of you is weak, I don't think it does any good for you. So I think he's got to have a little bit of time to accustom, and we'll see when they start throwing crosses at him what he's going to be like. But that's my team. Sean, what's your team for Sunday?
Excuse me, I just unmuted myself there. My team for Sunday kind of looks a bit like you. Obviously, the keeper picks itself. At right back, I will go for Royal. I will go for Romero, Van der Ven, Udogi, I believe it said.
Udogi.
Basuma and Madison. The third one. I'm not certain. I do feel Højbjerg hasn't done too much wrong in the thing, but there is this constant linking him to Atletico Madrid. So I would probably go Højbjerg if his head's in the game, and then I'd go Kulu, Richie, Son up front. But remember what Postecoglou will do. He wants constant movement. He wants them to be, not taking their time over throw-ins. He wants them running. And then what he does on 60 minutes and 70 minutes is he makes use of his full 5 subs. Get used to 5 subs being used. So we need a strong bench. So if Richie's struggling, and Richie will be, he will be an archetypal hassling, harrying centre forward like Kyogo does for Celtic and is doing for Celtic this season as well. He will bring on a Scala, or maybe the new kid from Rosario Central, Mr. Feliz or Mr. Feliz, who knows? I think you can't buy the feeling that Richie will have if he now knows that he's it. He's the number 9. He's the main man. He will, it'll lift a weight off of his shoulders. I think Kim's made the point there. He appears to be trying too hard because he's getting little bits here and everywhere. And that leads to injuries. And, we saw how injury racked his season was last year, even to the point where he got injured in the World Cup. So, yeah. And then, you have to play Sonny. Sonny's the captain for me. He's the captain of his country. He knows the club really well. He loves the club. He loves the Premier League. So yeah, for me, he's the captain. But that would be my team. So just Højbjerg in place of Sarr for me.
Listen, and based on what I've seen, it is a toss-up because even look what Skip did on against Barcelona. I think he had a great game against Barcelona. Personally, I think he did everything that was required of the person in that position. He got into the box. He scored 2 goals. When have we ever seen that? Skip scoring 2 goals in one game. So I think these players have really adapted to the style. They've really adapted to the system. It's now just trying to obviously maintain and manipulate certain things. As you said, Sean, we are going to be high in terms of that performance level. It's going to be really, really high in terms of high energy. They want to keep the ball in play. We are going to be playing constantly. So the players are going to get tired. But the good thing is, if it's a good thing, we're not playing back-to-back games. We haven't got Sunday, and then we haven't got like a Tuesday game or Wednesday game where we're going to play in Europe. Champions League, not Champions, but you know what I mean. We ain't got Europe to kind of contend with. Mr. K, before we talk about our recent acquisitions, what's your team for Sunday? Because we're going to do this in the preview anyway, but I just want to get some people's thoughts as to how they see the lineup. If there's no Harry Kane, basically.
Well, if there's no Harry Kane, then I'm very similar to Sean. There's a couple of differences, though. I would have Royal on the right back because I think he is a bit more solid defensively than Porro. And Dongi on the left, right? Yeah. I think to myself that if you're going to have more solid play on the right, then you really need a bit more attacking player on the left, to tell you the truth. But I would go in Dongi because I love the boy. I think he's absolutely is a breath of fresh air to that position. It reminds me an awful lot of a replacement for Rose. As far as the central defenders are concerned, I think it's too early, too soon for the new signing to come in. So it's going to have to be the dynamic duo, Paduga, Romero, and Dyer. As far as defense, go on.
Dyer, did you see what he? Yeah. No, it's not all his fault. I'm going to take that. It wasn't all his fault.
No, listen. There is one thing which you have to look at, and that is the players have to play together. They have to know each other instinctively. That means that there has to be some history with each other. Okay, so that's the reason. It's the first game. I don't think Ange wants egg on his face. He wants them to progress. But anyway, going forward, right? Yeah, Basuma absolutely certainly going in the central defense. The difference here is that Madison and Kulusevski. If Kulusevski is not injured, then I'd put him on. Bundles of energy, right? And then you got people like Sonny and Richarlison. I don't think you really have a choice as far as the first 11. That's what you'd have to go with until the newer players, or rather the other players, are going to have to get used to the system. Or Andy's going to have to get used to the system of them playing, right? So that's the most important thing. That's the first 11. As far as the subs are concerned, right? Yeah, I think this is where the clever tactical play is going to come in. You're going to have to. You got more choices of subs than previously available, and that's good. Now this is the season that's going to show which manager is tactically better at any given moment. In the past, even with people like, for example, Poch, right? Yeah, we always moaned that he would put on a substitution too late. But now, with more flexibility on substitutions, we're going to see clever usage of substitutes coming into the second half to move the game around. But the first 11, for sure, that's the team I would go with. Good luck to them. Come on, you Spurs. 4-1. That's what I predict. 4-1.
Right, Mr. K. I think we all have to discuss this Dyer thing.
Yeah.
Right. What?
Hold on a second. Egg on the face. Egg on the face with Dyer. He's going to get a whole fucking omelette on his face if he plays Dyer. You've got to, if you're going to go old school, it's got to be Davis. It's got to be Davis.
Do you know what? From what I saw, from what I saw against Barcelona, and I'm going to say this because I've given him pelters for a long time now. Sanchez actually played very well for most of that game. The reason being, because of the way we are going to be playing very high up, you have to have pace. You have to have pace as a centre back. If you don't, you are asking for trouble. I'm thinking that Brentford are going to play almost something akin to a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2. I think they're going to have two players up top, and they are going to play 1v1 at the back. Romero can play 1v1. Sanchez proved that he can. The left side worries me, but again, I take it into consideration what he did against Barca. He looked bloody good. But is it going to be a case where he can't maintain that? But if you play Dyer, I think Dyer, tactically, I don't think he's up to speed. Technically, he thinks he's a worldie that can spray balls. We don't need that anymore. We don't need players that have to spray 50, 60, 70-yard balls. It's short, intricate play. From the keeper to the centre-back. You've seen that clip on Twitter that's going around where they were playing all intricate passes and they got opportunities on goal. That's what you've got to be looking at to play. You don't need a Dyer in there who's going to lump it 35, 50, 70, 80 yards, whatever it is, to a player running onto it. That's if you need to do that occasionally. Postecoglou's not looking for players to do that. He wants to build up play move through midfield, because you've got your inverted wing backs or inverted fullbacks in there to control the game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. The only problem I've got with Sanchez, right, yeah, and this was highlighted against Barcelona.
I've got a lot of problems with Sanchez. Don't worry about
that. The problem is that he gets sucked forward, and that leaves a gap behind him. And in the second half, Barcelona, they abused that situation so many times. Brentford's going to be looking at that, and they'll have a play ready. Now, this is when I think Ndonge comes in, right, yeah, on the left back position. It gives that position a little bit more solidity. Now, Sean is right. If you're going to have a central defender that's on the left, you really want a left-footed centre back, and Ange actually prefers left-footed. And the only problem I got with Davis is that whenever he jumps, he's not jumping high enough. That's his only issue.
He's not big enough. He's not big enough.
Apart from that, I know, but at the end of the day, this is the Premier League. We're not playing little players anymore. So fastly. Look, I would. The only reason why I mentioned Dyer is because I think to myself, it's the first game of the season. The new boy that's come in, 100% he's going to take over that spot. It's going to be him, the new boy and Romero. But unfortunately, first game of the season, it's too soon to bring on anyone. You need a little bit of experience in there. It's a coin toss. It could be anybody. It could be Davis, it could be Sanchez, it could be Dyer, or it could be the new boy. It could be Ashley Phillips as well. Sean Young.
I'm throwing in Mickey Van Dijk because I've seen the way we play. It's 1v1 defending. You have to be good at 1v1 defending, and you have to have recovery, and you have to have pace to recover properly. I saw what Dyer was doing, and somebody made a good point here. Dyer is probably not even match fit because he's been out injured for a while anyway. So he's only just coming back. So
Yeah.
again, I don't want to
had surgery. He's had surgery.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see him
Oh.
playing there. Just trying to come back to fitness for a game on Sunday where there's players who are fitter. Yes, they might not be as technically as well. Dyer's not even technical. They might not be the player that we would expect again because we need height as well. We've got a small team at the moment. You know, we've kind of
I'll tell you
gone
what,
from a big team to a
Tanganga's played
smaller
that.
team. So again,
But listen, Sam, Tanganga has played that position.
I wouldn't blame him either. Again, he's not for me at the moment, particularly.
Yeah, not yet. No.
No.
I mean, Dave, you know what? I think Sean might be right. I think Davis, right? Yeah, good head and shoulders. And you know, if you're going to gamble anything at all, right? Yeah, you could stick him in there.
You could, but Brentford are going to attack. They're a big setup.
Speed.
They're a big setup, and they have players that can play in that transition. What I'm saying about if they play two up top, and I can see them playing a 3-5-2. There's two systems that you can play quite well against the way we play. A 3-5-2 will play well because you can go into a 5-4-1, you can go into any sort of shape, and you can have enough width to go across the back line. It also allows you to block that middle bit, so you've got enough in midfield. A 4-4-2 would kind of leave you a little bit short unless you brought one of your forwards back to make it a 4-5-1. But a 3-5-2 is an ideal situation or an ideal formation to play against us because you've got outlets. You've got width to go out wide. You've got numbers in the middle, but you've got two players up front that will play 2v2 against your two centre-backs, which is what we're going to be playing more often than not, 2v2s. I worry that you don't have the right two in there. Romero, I'm not considered about, but he's not the biggest player either. So in the air, he's going to be a little bit vulnerable. But on the ground, I'm not bothered. You can't have you can't have Romero and bloody Ben Davies in the same team against a team that's going to play aerially, who's going to be good at set pieces. I think it's a nightmare waiting to happen. So I think you've got to place somebody else there.
Why are they going to play aerially, Sam?
Because that's the weak point. We've seen it. The goals that we've
who have they got to play aerially? Their aerial threat is sitting in the stands until January.
Set pieces.
Yeah.
They've got big
all right, set pieces I'll give you.
So again,
during the game, they don't have that threat.
No, I agree with you. But they've got two players.
So if we have the ball, which is the core of Ange's game, then that's not a threat.
If we keep it, but we've kept a lot of the ball all pre-season, but we still conceded a lot of goals. The point I'm trying to make is if you know what you've watched, and if the Brentford manager's smart, he would have watched all of them things recently and said, right, I can see that. I can see it already. I can already see how you can exploit us at the back. It's quite easy if you're 2v2, if you don't have the right players playing in that too. You have to have good speed.
I think, Sam, I think you're right. Because when we go forward, right, the system that Andy's got, we actually end up playing a 2-3-5. Okay, and
that's what it is.
And basically the inverted wing backs, right? Yeah, they come into the midfield and they can swap positions with the wingers on the outside. And I've seen them do it. And basically, the problem is the transition to defense, right? So that's always been one of our weakest points. So you're right to a certain degree. We do need someone quick in there. Sanchez may be able to fit the bill, but this new boy, I just think it's too soon for him to come onto the pitch. Like straight in, bang, first game. Come on now. I mean, it's a risk.
That's the whole point.
What, he's been having a pre-season with Wolfsburg.
Yeah, he has.
And he's joined us, and he's training with us today.
So that means physically he's fit. The thing is, physically he's fit. So maybe Ange can do it. I don't know. I think it's a ballsy move, though.
Pav, who would you play centre back? Come on, because you said, would you play Ben Davies there? Would you play Van der Ven there?
I'd give Van der Ven a chance.
Yeah, man, give him a chance.
I'm sorry, okay,
but
you know what? What's the harm in getting him to start? Just throw him in there, give him that opportunity. There's no harm. And like you said, Sam, he's been doing pre-season with Wolfsburg. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like he's had that break where he's not done anything. He's actually been playing, right? So there's no harm in getting him to start, get him on his feet, get him feeling, the squad, playing with the squad, and then go from there. And I reckon Ange will actually play him. I reckon he'll say, you know what? Yeah, I think he'll give him a chance. I don't think
had we been with the Turin Troll and we'd given up possession and Brentford had more possession than us, I probably wouldn't play him there because he's going to be under more pressure. The pressure he'll be under is balls over the top as someone's put in, or aerially, both of which I think he can deal with. He's 6'4" and he's quick as hell. So if we've got 60, 70% of the ball and we're keeping it, the only thing we have to worry about is counter-attack and transition. If you've got a defender who's on the halfway line, but is quicker than the player that he's up against, more than likely he's going to get back into position to cover that. If he's 6'4" and he's good in the air, which I've heard he is, more than likely he's going to be able to defend crosses, corners. It's a no-brainer for me. Yes, if we were lacking possession and we were playing a different way, I'd have concerns and maybe bring him in for the home game, but not for Sunday. He's £50 million worth of player, and we've wanted him all summer. We've got him playing. That's how I see it. So he'll have to start. Henry, I agree with you. I think then all day long. MisterK, they're saying all day long here. You can't play VDV now. It's a different. Oh, who's this? Jews? What are you telling me now, Jews? You always got to come out and say he needs to make a few sub appearances, then he can start.
No.
VDV would be slaughtered by the fans if he makes mistakes.
I think with the new substitution system we've got generally speaking, you don't substitute defenders. Generally in a game, you don't normally do it. But with the new system we've got, you're right. The possibility of Ange bringing in that particular new defender straight in, I would put him at the beginning if that's the case, and then substitute him off if he starts to get a little bit, bit woozy.
Exactly.
You can't stick him at the end because it becomes dangerous for the team itself because it becomes a little bit more traumatic. We know what our team's like in terms of mindset. It's going to take a little while for the confidence to grow, and the momentum has, whenever it swings the opposite way, it is. But
MisterK, what good pieces made. Bremer against Dyer, that is a oh my god moment, because I can see it already. If Fatty was giving him problems, you got to watch that goal when he ran off, and what was he doing? The players there, and there was other things on the right hand side where we had a 2v1, we should have defended it. But after that, if I was coaching my under 15s team a few years, I would have a word with them. Come on, lads, why are you running away from the player? There's no danger with space. Space don't score goals. Players do. Players score goals. Space doesn't. So whatever he's doing there, I don't know. I really don't know. No, Van der Ven all day long for me. All day long. We've been hour and 15. Right, let's get some final thoughts. I wanted to try and just get your final thoughts on this whole summer saga in a couple of minutes, if you can. Starting with you, Pav. Just give me your overall thoughts of how you're feeling 70-odd, well, not even 70-odd hours, maybe 60-odd hours before the start of the season. How are you feeling?
Confused. Confused. And I think I speak on behalf of everyone here. I'm confused. I told the press. Do you know what? It's crazy because we've had, we've been getting Maddison in. It's been exciting. Do you know what? And then at the back of our minds, it's like, oh, what's going on with Kane? What's going to happen now? And the fact that the media are just twisting every single bit out there, one single comment, and they'll blow it out of proportion. It's just crazy. And I think it just doesn't help, and it doesn't help us being on the edge of our seats and not knowing. Like, I saw this tweet, it was so funny. I saw this tweet a couple of hours ago, and it was like, oh, an unknown source has come out, and apparently another team is prepared to steal Kane in the next summer. So if Kane stays, they've lined themselves up to steal Kane in the summer. And then all the Man United fans, like one of the Man United fans I know, he came out and he was like, yeah, Kane's coming to us next summer. It's like, no, okay, stop. Everyone's twisting everything now. It's enough now.
It's getting boring.
We need a statement. Tottenham needs to come out and say something, or Kane needs to come out and say something, because we've got 2 more days till the Brentford game and we don't know what the hell is going on. Am I excited for the season to start? Hell yeah. Am I excited to see Ange Ball? Yes, I'm excited. I think he's great for us, but I'm not excited about what's going to happen with Kane, because it leaves us in the dark. We don't know what the hell's going on. And I think right now, us fans just need to get behind Ange and say, do you know what? We're putting all our trust into him and see what's going on. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm putting my trust in him. And whatever happens, happens. We've got to have faith in him and we've got to back him.
Well said. There's the positive vibe. I'm going to knock the S off today. That's positive vibes, Pav, right there. That's what we like to hear. Thank you. Sean, how are you feeling 3 days before the season starts for us?
I'm fine. I love football. I love Tottenham Hotspur, irrespective of what's going on in the in the boardroom, which I have no control over. I want to see my manager and my players, and I'm adopting a new attitude this season. While the game is playing, I'm not slagging any of our players, because I've had a revelation this summer. The interview with Dele Alli and the treatment of Davinson Sanchez was beyond the pale for me. Now, I will criticise players after the game if they've had a bad game, but I'm not going to criticise them. If I'm in that stadium, which I will be for the Man U game, I won't be getting on players' backs, because our coach deserves 100% support.
Agreed.
He needs 100% support. It's going to be tough. The fixtures have not been kind. You wouldn't want Brentford for your first game. Or you wouldn't want Manchester United for your first home game. You wouldn't want Liverpool quite soon after that. You wouldn't want the North London derby as far forward as we come. But we've got to stick to this man, because I think he will build a team which will be worthy of the name of Tottenham Hotspur if we give him the chance. And let's back the new players. Let's back the old players. And, if we no longer have the occupant of the number 10 as Harry Edward Kane, we will back the new number 10, whoever that may be.
100% agree. It's us fans who's going to keep Postecoglou in the job, nobody else. And if we turn on him because of reasons that are outside his control, then that'd be silly of us. And I agree with what you're saying about the players. There are going to be mistakes made, and we have to accept that. I've seen them already. But what I have seen is a drastic improvement in the enjoyability of our football. It's so enjoyable to watch, regardless of whether we lose 4-2 or we win 5-1. It's bloody good to watch.
Be still, my beating heart.
And that's all I want to see, because I went to that stadium all last season and I stopped going towards the end because I couldn't bear to watch some of that stuff that was being turned out. And I couldn't bear to watch some of the attitudes for some of these players. But again, it started to come out about what the Turin troll was doing, and it probably wasn't all good. And he was just up his own arse, I think, Antonio Conte. Ange Postecoglou is a straight-talking guy, but what he's also is he's very, very good at what he does in terms of coaching. I don't think Antonio Conte is very good at coaching. I think he's a very good manager in terms of how he can, what he got in terms of pieces. But when I said about last year, these players, just look at some of the players now after a coaching of 6-7 weeks or whatever it's been. Drastic difference with some of them. Some of them don't have the talent, but some of them who did have the talent that just didn't have the backing of the manager are now he's Basuma. I said he was like a League One player at times. Like, he's a fucking phenomenal player. So I'm hoping that we can keep MisterK. Welcome back. Your thoughts? How you feeling? 3 days before the season, sir.
I'm going to keep it simple. Goodbye, Kane. Goodbye, Kane. Goodbye, Kane. Get lost, Levy. Get lost, Levy. Get lost, Levy. In Ange, we trust. In Ange, we trust. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Well, we've all got smiles on our faces. That's a good thing, because at the end of last season, I didn't smile much at all. I wore black for most of the shows. I'm now going to get out my Spurs kits to wear them from the preview shows all the way through, because I'm proud to be a Spurs fan. I've always been proud to be a Spurs fan, but it's been hard. It has been hard over the last couple of years. primarily, particularly last season. But anyway, make sure you smash that like. Remember, description will go in. PRTv, look out for that because that's what we're running simultaneously at the same time as Paxton Road TV. So smash a like, hit that, subscribe button. Is there a subscribe? Yeah, do that as well. And put your comments in the comment section. And look out for all of these guys on Twitter, Instagram. You can see their handles there. If there's not on there, you can probably find them by just putting it in. MisterK, I know you're still on Twitter, MisterK.
I am on Twitter, but I hardly ever go there. It's just full of.
It's not Twitter anymore.
I'm like Sean, bro. I just want to have peace of heart and I want to see good things.
You do. That's what you should. So sometimes don't go on Twitter because it makes your heart increase, and people have got so much to say, and sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about. But that's Twitter. Everybody's got their opinions and options. It's fully up to you. But yeah, if you don't want to be angry for a lot of the time, don't go and check our fan base all the while. Yeah, we don't know what's happening. Is anything happened? Is he still there? Is he gone yet? Is it? Nah. We're gonna get people on plane watch. So please, if Harry Kane gets on a plane to me, please let us know. But he's still our player, and we still got our club, and that will always be there. So 100%, come on, you Spurs. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, MisterK, and thank you, PvP. Knock off the S. Back to positive vibes, Pab. I like that. We're getting into the season. Look out for the preview show. I think that's gonna be tomorrow. Change position. Why not, MisterK? Look out for the preview show tomorrow. Reaction show on Sunday. We're going to the game. Myself and Sean, Sid. Pab, you going? Unfortunately, are you not?
Nah.
Oh no. It's exciting. I'm so excited to go and see this game. Oh no. What I'm talking about? That's the Man United game I'm talking about. I'm not going to Brentford. Apologies. I'm going to be watching that though. So no, I'm not going to Brentford, but I'm going Man United the week after. I can't wait for that first home game. Anyway, that's enough. David late into it. Brentford 2, Spurs 5, Kane 2, Solomon 1, VDV 1, and Perisic 1. Yeah. Here we go, Lukaku. I hope not. Not being funny, but Ange could be an ADHD genius when it comes to football. Do you notice he never looks his interviewer in the eye? I don't care if he doesn't ever look me or anybody else in the eye. As long as he gets the team playing like I've seen him playing, he can do what he likes, mate. He can do whatever he likes. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you, Pav. Thank you, MisterK. That is it. We're going. I'm hungry and getting bloody hot in here as well. So, where's the music? Where's the music? Where's the music? It's somewhere.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Let me out.